Folks, I don't know if you follow this young man on Twitter or X, but you have to, Coach Carson, Chad. But he put out a post, a tweet, whatever you call these X things the other day, that basically highlighted he's a total loser. He doesn't want to be a billionaire, folks. What kind of loser doesn't want to be a billionaire? And before you overreact, I am of course kidding. I have no interest in being a billionaire either. But it is quite the statement on Twitter or X. So tell us why you said that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed this, Michael. Twitter's fun. You can scroll through and there's lots of interesting people, right? But one of the common themes I've noticed, even some people I admire out there, is like the pinnacle of success in the business world is becoming a billionaire. That's the, if you're not Elon Musk, at least you can be, like a 1 billionaire. And whether you're a real estate investor, whether you're a business owner, people I follow, that's kind of the aspiration. I pushed back on that. I said, you know what? I don't want to be a billionaire. In fact, it's not even on my radar. It's not a goal. I don't even want to be a 150 millionaire. Like I want to have enough money, and you can have a lot of success financially, do everything you want to do in your life. I'm not willing to do the cost that it would take to scale and grow big. And I've been through my business sprint. Like a lot of people listening to this, you're in the middle of your grind, your sprint, you're doing the work that Michael talks about. That's fun. I enjoy the grind. But at the point I'm at, and I think we were at too, Michael, we've paid our dues. We've kind of gotten to some certain plateaus on the financial ladder, climbing up that mountain. And for me, I don't plan on leaving the game. Like I like to be in business. I like to be engaged, but doing what it takes to scale, grow, build these big systems. Not everybody wants to do that. That's not for everybody.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. When I look at, you know, my grind was 15 years, daily discipline, busting my ass during the day for my day job, doing everything else in the evenings and weekends. And I had zero interest, right? I always tell people I envision the financial freedom as a mountain. And I've personally chosen to sit my ass down on a great vista. Yeah, there's a lot more vistas above me and there's lots more places to go. And I reserve the right to stand up and go higher. But dude, I'm having a good old time right now. Everything I have more than I deserve. Um, I've got everything I've ever wanted. It's I just don't get it. There are some people that wrap up their ego in 100 million or a billion, and I've met some of them. I don't think they're particularly happy. Right? If you break down their life, they're not taking a year off to go live in Spain like somebody I know on this show, and it's not me, right? There's just so much more to life. And I am proud to say I'm sitting my ass down. I'll do one or two deals a year, and I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the bigger picture for me, and actually the reason I wrote the book I wrote, I had this itch in my head, was about redefining success.
Yes.
That money's great. Like you and I both admire get people who are going and grinding to get more money. Like wealth building is amazing. The economy is
Yes.
amazing. Capitalism is amazing. This is not about that. This is about like adding more measurement tools to the way we measure success. And for me, like money is one of those things. It's like, you call it a currency. But if you really think about what you need to be successful in relationships with your family, with your friends, when you really think about what's success when you're on your deathbed and you're like, let me think about my life. How did it go? What was good? What was bad? Are you going to really say, oh, I piled up $100 million more or $10 million more? No, you're going to think about like the time you spent with the people that were important to you. You're going to think about the people you contributed to. You're going to think about the legacy you left, the relationships you have. So I think those are harder to measure. Money's easier to measure. Business is easier to measure. So I think we A-type people, which I put myself in that category, are susceptible to just continuing to move those goalposts and say more money, more money, more money, and make that like the most important thing. When really the more difficult challenges for me in my life have been to slow down a little bit and to build, to focus on my family or focus on some other area of growth that I need. Because there's, I'm not healthy. I need to go work on this part of my health, or I need to work on this education that I'm not really that good at. So there's a lot of, I want to expand what we think about as being successful beyond just that money measurement.
Yeah, I think, for me personally, I kind of had a pivot, right? So, my epiphany here goes type A, grind, best at what I did, moments notice, quit. out of nowhere, don't have a plan, don't have a, I ran from something versus to something. Folks, don't do that. It sucks. And then you get depressed. And it was one thought that saved me. I don't know where it came from. I'm glad it did, but this was the thought I had is what can you do to outlive your kind of physical body? Because I think everybody dies twice, just my belief. You die, your physical body dies once, and then when the last person says nice things or thinks about you, that's the second time. And my goal is to outlive my physical body by 50 years. That's a crazy goal. It's a goal I work on every day. And that's how I've replaced with this, scoreboard money number. Now it's like, who are we impacting? Who's going to say nice things about me in 50 years or 100 years because I help them have a better life. It's a lot more fun. It involves a lot more people. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had my own versions of those recollections when I was trying to, got enough money. What's going on here? And for me, exactly where you are, to me, I looked at some of my teachers and coaches in my life as some of my role models. Yeah. And I started thinking about, what, my own success is pretty cool, but any of us who've been a teacher, a coach, a parent, if you happen to be a parent, when you look at the people you're coaching or teaching, their success makes you 100 times happier than your own success. At least that's been the case for me. I think it has been for you too. And there's just something in our DNA. There's something ingrained in us to bring other people along on this journey we're on. And I mean, it's amazing. I feel like pinch myself every day, help other people be successful, buy properties, make cash flow, become a better person. Like that's just a pretty cool job. So I'm loving life.
Yeah. And again, I want to be clear. Could Chad and I grind it and double what we have? Absolutely. But just like everybody else, we only have 24 hours in the day. If I was going to be aggressive and try to double my portfolio in the next 3 to 5 years, I could not have this YouTube channel. I could not have written my books. I would be maniacally focused on finding deals, networking, seeing properties, talking to sellers. And in my world, at least where I'm at today, I see that as selfish. I don't need any more. Yeah, I'll get 1 or 2 a year just to stay in the game, but I don't need a double. I think I can be, the reward is, to your point, is seeing the next person get their first one versus my 200th. It's just a different equation.
Yeah. And I want to go back to something you also said earlier, which I think is the main point for all of us. And wherever you are in your journey, if you're brand new to this, if you're in the middle of your journey, Michael mentioned something about not going to something. Like when you're trying to retire or you're trying to get financial freedom, just getting there is important. But if you don't have something in your life that you're going towards, what is the point? Like, where is this ladder? What is this ladder propped against? And I call that your why. My motto at Coach Carson's do what matters. That just reminds me that we're doing this real estate thing because there's something that matters to people even more than the real estate, and everybody's got their own thing. That's such a critical piece of it. For one, it motivates you along the way when it's really difficult and you're in that 15-year grind. Like you got to have something that just drives you. It might be a person you want to care for. It might be a mission you have outside of real estate. It might just be you want to be the best person you can, and that really motivates you. But there's got to be something. And the cool thing about that is it can motivate you while you're climbing. And then once you get there, if you start dabbling in it, like for you, it's been a teacher, for me, it's a teacher as well. Like I started blogging and writing this thing just because I love it. And because I would pay people to go do this kind of stuff I'm doing. Yeah. And it's just it's a passion. And so before you get to there, like well before it, 5-10 years before, start thinking about how would you spend your day on an ideal day? Like what kind of activities would you do? Would you spend 4 to 6 hours reading? Would you start another business? Would you start a nonprofit? Would you spend more time with your family? Like those are the kind of questions that once you have the space, if you are successful with your finances, then you'll have a plan for how to fill that space and not just have it be a vacuum, because that's the tough part, that if you just figure you're going to be happy once you have the money, it doesn't work that way.
No, I will second that. Again, I had my plan was to retire at 50. I had a moment come up at 45. It was over, and I came home and I had a great couple of days. And then I got depressed because I didn't have that thing. And before anybody, my experience is you can't just play golf, sit on a beach, do nothing all day. That gets really, really old. And it's also very solitary because most people work. So, to your point, Chad, find something that you want to run to and work on it early, right? I should have been doing this YouTube channel or writing a book or whatever it was years before, right? I probably should have done it when I was 40 or 35. It would have been a totally different journey. So, yeah, definitely get that going. So, at the end of the day, Chad, you are not a loser because you don't want to be a billionaire. You are amazing. I think it's the right answer for most people. I am right there with you. Where can people find you and highlight your book?
I'm on Coach Carson, any platform you look at, YouTube, Twitter, including Instagram, Facebook. I'm out there. And the book is The Small and Mighty Real Estate Investor. It's a business model for those of us who want to make a bunch of money, but just eventually get enough. Like, what does that look like when you're a billionaire in time? That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a billionaire in free time
Ooh,
and
I
a
like
meaningful
that.
life. So that's it.
A billionaire in time and helping others. I like that. You are a billionaire, Chad. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.